Should you buy or should you sell first? Are you befuddled? What a great word. We will discover this. We'll look into it. We'll dive into it right after this. There's three things that you got to figure out. The first one is, what type of market are you looking in? What type of market are you selling in? And is
that one thing, or is that two?
That's one. That's okay. One. So like on the whole transaction is understanding the market.
Yeah.
The second thing is understanding your finances, right? And truly getting a sense of, can I hold both? Should I have both? What are my options when it comes to that?
Yeah.
What about bridge financing? Like all those kind of things.
I was just going to say, or, do I want to become a real estate kingpin with lots of rentals? Do you want to keep
your house?
Yeah.
Right? Do you want to, because you might have moved into that home at some point and it was a great home, but actually could make a fantastic rental. So pulling that money out if there's equity and going that way.
Yeah.
And then the third thing I would say is understanding who you are and who you're going to become. And what is your family? Like, are you starting to have kids? Are your kids getting older? What life stage are you in?
Everybody's situation is going to be different. And so many things come into play when you're trying to decide, should I make this move, or should we stay put, or how do we do this in the same market type thing? Where do we begin? And to be honest, it really starts with your goal.
Yes.
I think you need to have a goal or an idea of what you want to accomplish. And, we were tossing this around just a second ago. I think so many people get surprised by the opportunity to move up.
It's very true.
They might not even be thinking about it, might not even be on their radar. And then lo and behold, they catch wind of a house that just came on the market and it's the dream house or whatever it might be. And it sneaks up on them. And then there's a sense of urgency and panic. And you're going from 0, I haven't even considered this, to
110.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And emotional now because we're engaged. We've already seen ourselves living in it. And it just appeared in front of us. So everybody's situation is going to be different. And I think that's what we want to unpack a little bit here is, what are some of the key things to look for to kind of prepare yourself for making a transition like this?
Totally.
Yeah.
So when you're meeting with clients, so let's say you get that call. Someone says, man, I found this house. It just popped up. I wasn't looking at anything, but I think this could be a fantastic opportunity for us. I know for like a lot of clients that I've met with over the years and even ourselves, we were even just talking about this, but every 5 to 7 years, I know it's like a statistic, but the thing is, if you think about it, a lot of people get married and around that 5-year mark, they have a kid. And then around 5 years later, they are going to school. And then 5 years later, they're kind of getting into junior high, a different type of kid. And then 5 years later, they're kind of heading into graduation, now college. Like,
I'm not doing the math check on this, so I'm not exactly sure if that's how that unfolds. But yeah, well, those are life stages. You're right.
And I think that around that 5 to 7 mark, that happens, that changes, and people and their kids and their needs change, unless you have like a really big budget and a large home that you can make that home and transition that home to your needs throughout your life stages.
Yeah,
you're most likely moving.
Right. I think one of the things that I do is, like you and I, we've actually journeyed through this already.
Yeah.
And I did it in the very early days of my real estate career. So
yes,
it was very helpful to kind of be in that moment of transition at that time. So what I do when I meet with clients is I want to put myself in your shoes. I've done this transition. I may have done it for different reasons.
Yes.
But because I've been through the transition, I kind of know what to look for and maybe how to guide people through it. But for us, like, our big consideration was, our house was, I don't know if you remember, this is so long ago now. Our house was just too small. It wouldn't accommodate a growing family. We only had 2 bedrooms up in a bi-level starter home. And our big consideration was, we got to go someplace where, our kid doesn't need to sleep in the basement alone.
Yeah.
So,
but it's like a lot of people, though.
I think so. Certainly a lot of people that I've dealt with, that is the the thing. We're bursting at the seams in our
Yeah.
house right now. We're looking to make a transition. We found this house. A couple of things though that I found really helpful when we went through the process, and I try to get clients to go through this process or thought pattern anyway when I meet with them, is why exactly are you making this move, and what is important to you in the next stop,
5
or
years next.
exactly.
Yeah.
Does this house match what's going to work for you? For us, it was schools. We wanted to be where there was a certain set of schools, and we abandoned this plan, by the way. You have to be a little bit flexible.
Yeah.
But when we were looking at purchasing, we had the idea we wanted our kids to learn a second language, be in French immersion. Found out that I'm not good at French, and so most kids drop out of French immersion because of their parents, not because of them. And I didn't want our kids to do that. So we ended up changing. But the whole reason we moved to where we did was because the schools were phenomenal. Yeah. And then everything else, choices. Yeah. Everything else fell into place from there. Yeah. So, and I think that's the important thing, is there's lots of nice houses.
Yeah. And there's amazing communities.
Totally. Yeah. And there's lots of opportunities for people to move up. But does that house that you've fallen in love with, does it check the boxes that you need it to check? Yeah. Outside of just an emotional attachment to that house.
So let's talk a little bit about the actual process of figuring out, should you sell or should you buy first? Because I think some people can have some conversations within their own household, and one spouse or one significant other or whatever relationship status you are, the one seller could be like so excited about getting to the next place, where the other one, all they can think about is unpacking or packing or cleaning the current place. And there's typically this big divide between families of where they're at. And it just comes down to like, are you attracted to change, or are you really like figuring out like, I don't want to leave a mess behind me kind of thing. Yeah. And I think, and so how do you deal with that when you're meeting with clients?
Well, I think it's important to have that conversation and make sure that everyone's on the same page. Because to me, that's if certain people are kind of stuck in let's rephrase. If one half is stuck in the back and one half is looking forward already, you're on two different pages and you have two different goals, whether you think you do or not. Yeah. And so I think it's important to just, again, make sure that everyone's on the same page when you're doing that.
Totally.
So,
and so then how do you, like, because I think sometimes we can have conversations with people and you can clearly see them on these different pages, right? But when you actually talk to them, do you find that, can you bring one to the other side, or is it through data? Is it through, and what is that helps you bridge the gap?
Yeah. Well, I think you have to understand, for the person that's, stuck with the cleaning and the sales side of things, I think you need to help them see both sides of the picture. And the same for the person that's emotionally attached and already checked out of the house that they're in and living in the new one, even though they haven't bought it yet.
Absolutely.
I think you have to bring them together. And I think data is a very important thing to help them understand the situation that they're buying into and the situation that they're selling out of. Yeah. And I think when people have a clear picture of both, one, they'll understand each other if there is conflict there. Yeah. And two, we can put a roadmap together now to help them make that transition as stress-free as possible, which for us is the goal. Yeah. We don't want people to feel stressed out moving at all. So data, I think, is the big key in all this, is understanding the data. What market are you buying into? Yeah. What market are you selling out of? And
so what is that data? Like, what is the specific things that you're looking for when you're actually talking to somebody?
Yeah, and I was just going to say that.
Oh, well, it's perfect bridge.
Like in my mind.
I know, it's good.
So a couple things that when I sit down with people, I want to have a good idea of where they're at in kind of making this transition, because there's options. People who are looking at making this kind of transition, the question will always be, should I buy or should I sell first? Yeah. And there's variables that come into play. And the first one is, well, what is the the financial situation here.
Yeah.
Market aside, are you able and willing to purchase and carry the house that you're in right now?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to start a real estate empire and you want to start building
like rentals, you mean?
Yeah, rentals.
Yeah.
And so you want to buy one and rent the one that you're in. Maybe you haven't even considered that before.
Yeah.
That's a conversation that we'll have. And then once we kind of have a clear picture on that, and we know, okay, let's say for purposes of our conversation, our example, they need to sell.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, that's the situation that they're in. Okay, well, now we need to look at the market.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at the house that you're buying in, is that house in a buyer's market, a seller's market, a balanced market? We need to understand what that is. So we're going to look at the months of inventory. We're going to look at how many options are available in that community, or even similar to that house in the area, because sometimes it can transcend communities. So we want to look at what's going on with your purchase, but then also with the sale of your house. We're in a market right now and we live in Calgary, which is also a unique city where every community has its own market.
Yeah. So
it's important to understand, well, things are moving really well if you're, 500 and under right now, for example.
Yeah.
So, my house is 425, so it should sell no problem.
Yeah.
There's a lot of risk going into something just thinking like that.
Yeah.
And we don't want to put people in a bad situation.
And what are those risks?
Well, maybe there's something unique about your house that, is not going to appeal to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Maybe your community has a lot of options for sale. And even though things are selling really well, your house maybe doesn't rank as the top option in that particular price point in your community.
Compared to what's active.
Compared to what's available.
Yeah.
So, that's just a couple of things. There's lots of, maybe there's something wrong with your house that you don't know.
Right.
And so even if you did get an offer, somebody finds something out and it falls apart.
Yeah.
There's lots of variables that we want to make sure that we're navigating people through properly when we're making this transition.
And I think part of it too is when you end up sitting with that person, not part of it, but the other thing is looking at what we call months of inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And so for those of you that are watching, sometimes you'll hear different terms like months of inventory, absorption rate. I don't know if there's any other ones.
Buyers and sellers markets.
Just a general buyer's market, seller's market, balance market kind of thing. And so a lot of times understanding that number is really, really helpful, because what it essentially means is there more people looking for homes than what's available, or the opposite of that. So there's more homes than people looking. And this is all just comes down to supply and demand.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important number, because sometimes I remember I've helped people where they've bought in a buyer's market, so it's better for them to buy, and they've sold in a seller's market where it was better for them. But I also remember others, it's the opposite, where they're buying where it's a seller's and they're selling where it's a buyer's.
Or it's both.
It's both.
Buying in buyer's markets and selling in buyer's markets, or selling in
the seller market. Yeah. And I think understanding that principle and diving in and how do we come up with that number? I think that's something, because I think so many videos will talk about, that's what you need to know, but ask me, let me come into your house and I will tell you your number.
But you're giving away our secrets.
No, but I mean, but how do we find that number? If someone wanted to go out and find it, there's the internet. There's probably lots of ways people can find it. But what is that number when people are looking for it, and how do you find that?
Very simple way to explain it is just to do an analogy, really. We look at how long it'll take a market to sell itself off if nothing else comes on.
Yeah.
So, for example, you have 10 homes on the market, you're selling 5 a month. It's going to take 2 months to sell those 10 homes. We have 2 months worth of inventory.
Yeah.
So we take that number, 2 months worth of inventory, and we look at, okay, well, what kind of market does that put us in? In Calgary, roughly 2.5 months and under would be considered a seller's market.
Yeah.
2.5 months to 4 would be a balanced market, and anything 4+ months we would consider a buyer's market.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we figure that number out. And you're right. I actually think when it all comes down to, you strip everything away, the most important thing in any real estate transaction is knowing that number, whether you're buying or selling.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't think we can discount the importance of that for sure. And that usually plays a huge role in somebody trying to make this decision. What should I do first?
So would you say, so if we kind of, I don't know what the right word is, but bring everything together, what we just talked about.
Bring it all home.
Bring it all home.
Bring it in for a landing.
Oh, landing. So I would think there's three things that that you got to figure out. The first one is, what type of market are you looking in? What type of market are you selling in? And that's
Is that one thing, or is that two?
That's one. That's
Okay.
one. So like on the whole transaction is understanding the market.
Yeah.
The second thing is understanding your finances, right? And truly getting a sense of, can I hold both? Should I have both? What are my options when it comes to that?
Yeah.
What about bridge financing? Like all those kind of things.
I was just going to say, or, do I want to become a real estate kingpin with
do you
lots
want
of
to keep
rentals?
your house?
Yeah.
Right? Do you want to, because you might have moved into that home at some point and it was a great home, but actually could make a fantastic rental. So pulling that money out if there's equity and going that way.
Yeah.
And then the third thing I would say is understanding who you are and who you're going to become. And what is your family? Like, are you starting to have kids? Are your kids getting older? What life stage are you in?
We should have just started the video with the summary.
We'd
be done already.
We just created the summary while we did the video.
Yeah, I think you nailed it right on the head. Those are, if I was to say what are the most important things, I think those are the three most important things to figure out.
Yeah.
And I do know that this does sneak up on people. I do know that, people have that sense, okay, things are getting a little tight in our house, or this house isn't meeting the needs that we need it to meet. And then, fa-bam, also a good word.
Bam.
That perfect house comes up, or that house that just emotionally grabs somebody right away. And there hasn't been a lot of time to do any kind of prep work.
Yeah.
It is important to sit down and have these conversations for sure.
Totally. Well, thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
This is great. If you are befuddled and
Good word.
Fa-bam, a house shows up, you might have some questions. Let us know. We're here to help. We want to help you transition properly through this whole process. So again, if there's questions, comments, put them in the comments below. Reach out to us, DM us. You can always email us at info@TC Group. That's our old email, info@chamberlaingroup.ca. And we are here to help. But on that note, we are out.
Ciao.
See you guys later.